I got a shot fired, complaint at Berkey Hall.
Heartbreak at Michigan State.
We are very saddened to report that there has been an incident on the campus of Michigan State University.
3 Spartan students dead and 5 more left fighting for their lives.
When we ran out, there were cops there, and they told us to go lay in a field.
The search for answers that's now underway.
As we were going out, cops were running in with assault rifles and yelling, like, get out of the building, as we fled the dining hall.
And the lives forever changed.
We have to sprint to our bikes because we see cops running, they're yelling, everyone's scared. There's just a fear in the air around the entire campus.
Live team coverage of the MSU shooting starts now.
We're devastated at the loss of life, and we want to wrap our warm arms around every family that is touched by this tragedy.
First at 5, a community and campus in mourning after 8 students were shot on the campus of Michigan State University. 3 of those students lost their lives, 5 others still in the hospital, listed in critical condition. The 3 students who were killed have been identified now as Brian Frazier from Grosse Pointe, Alexandria Werner from Clawson, and Ariel Anderson from Grosse Pointe North.
Police say the gunman who took those students' lives had no affiliation with Michigan State University. He later took his own life as police closed in on him following a manhunt that lasted several hours. The shootings happened on the north end of the MSU campus at Berkey Hall and the MSU Union. We do have team coverage for you tonight of the MSU shooting. Jody Meeson is gathering reaction from students on campus, including those with ties to Northern Michigan. But we start with Eric Lloyd, who has the latest on where the investigation stands tonight. Eric?
Yeah, David, Bill, I'm here outside the MSU Union, like you said, on the north end of campus, right up against downtown East Lansing. And you can see the police tape is still surrounding the area as it's an active police investigation. But we're learning more today about the things that led to some of the questions that we had. But one question we still don't know yet is why did this all happen? Now, police say that it was about the day after shooting. We're learning more about those who are involved. And first, we'll talk about the victims. Like you said, we know that they were all 8 of the victims were Michigan State University students. 3 of them passed away in the scenes where they're shot, and then 5 more were sent to the hospital, currently in critical condition. Those 3 that were killed, we know are Alexandria Werner from Clawson, Brian Frazier and Ariel Anderson, both from Grosse Pointe. Now, we still don't know much about the 5 that are hospitalized, but after the last update, they are still all alive, just in critical condition. Now, as for the suspect, 43-year-old Anthony McCrae, has no affiliation with Michigan State University, not a student, staff, faculty, which makes his motives that more confusing and one of the questions we'll have to get to. But one thing we do know, police say it was about 8:18 last night when they got the first calls at nearby Berkey Hall. While they were responding to those calls, that's when they got reports of shots fired here at the Union. Now, McCrae was able to take off on foot and get away. They gave out a photo of him, and about 5 miles away, a citizen recognized him, called police. Police responded to that area, and once they confronted him, that's when he turned the gun on himself and shot himself. Now, we still have a lot of questions, but the threat was over at that point. But the pain here in the community and statewide is still going to be felt, as now Michigan is facing its 2nd mass school shooting in less than a year and a half.
As the representative of Oxford, Michigan, I cannot believe that I am here again doing this 15 months later. And I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools. And I would say that you either care about protecting kids or you don't. You either care about having an open and honest conversation about what is going on in our society or you don't.
Police say they did find a note on McCrae's body after he had killed himself. Now, they haven't released exactly what was in the note, but part of it was a threat to 2 schools in New Jersey where he had previously lived. Unrelated to this incident, but something to keep an eye on. Now, here on Michigan State's campus, they're on minimal operations through tomorrow, and then classes are canceled at least through the end of the week, if not further after that. Live in East Lansing, Eric Lloyd, 9 and 10 News.
Eric, thank you. And the shootings have been understandably weighing heavy on the hearts and minds of students at Michigan State University today after they were told last night to shelter in place and to be ready to run, hide, or fight. 9 and 10's Jody Meeson has been talking to students throughout the day. She joins us live. Jody, what are they saying?
David, students are still processing what happened last night as they learn the names of their classmates who were either injured or killed in last night's shooting. Many came to what's known as the Rock on MSU's campus, trying to make sense of it all. The Rock is a boulder that's been here since 1873. Today, it serves as an unofficial message board. Sometimes the message even changes daily. Today, the message is clear. It reads right now, how many more? Many students have been stopping by after a very long night to show their respects to the victims of last night's shooting. They've expressed shock, grief, sadness, and anger at what happened. There seems to be very few answers to so many questions right now. And for students like Noah Petzak, a senior studying sociology from Ludington, it's been difficult to process as more details come out.
But I am worried that I could have some classmates that were injured in the shooting because I have class at Berkey 4 days a week, and that was where the initial shots were fired.
I'm being told that a vigil is being planned for tomorrow night here at this location, the very spot where a vigil was held a little more than a year ago for the victims of the Oxford shooting. Tonight at 6, we'll hear how a few students made split-second decisions that saved their lives. Live in East Lansing, Jody Meeson, 9 and 10 News.
Jody, thanks. The support for the Michigan State University community continues its way up to northern Michigan. Some have been showing their support through posts on social media. Others in Traverse City have MSU flags outside their homes to show their support. Traverse City also is home to many Michigan State alumni. Melissa Smith graduated from MSU back in 2006 and recalls it being an enjoyable place to make friends and get an education. She can't imagine anything like this occurring at her alma mater.
My heart, my prayers, and my deepest condolences are with the families who were affected. You know, I can't stress it enough, but mental health awareness needs to be at the forefront. This is real. This is something that should be treated.
She hopes the Michigan State University community is able to heal.
So here's the bottom line on what we know so far about the MSU shooting. The shooting began just before 8:30 last night at Berkey Hall and continued at the MSU Union. 3 students were killed. Their names are Alexandria Verner, Brian Frazier, and Ariel Anderson. 5 others are currently hospitalized. The shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and his only criminal history is a firearms possession charge from 2019. Police also found a note with the shooter threatening 2 schools in New Jersey. Those schools closed today just to be safe, and all activities on MSU's campus are canceled for at least the next 2 days. And there have been at least 12 mass shootings on U.S. college campuses since 1966. 8 of those have taken place in the last 20 years. The first modern-day mass shooting on a college campus was at the University of Texas at Austin, where a shooter killed 15 people and injured 31 others. It was also the earliest recorded university shooting. The deadliest happened at Virginia Tech's Blacksburg campus in 2007, where 32 students died and at least 23 others were injured. The shooter took his own life during the attack. Before the shooting at MSU, the most recent attack was at the University of Virginia. You may remember on November 13th of 2022, a shooter opened fire on a bus, killing 3 football players and injuring 2 more.
For students who witnessed the tragic event or who are grieving the loss of classmates, MSU is offering various resources. All students, faculty, and staff will have access to crisis counseling. Struggling families can also get counseling at the Hannah Community Center, with MSU providing a shuttle to get people to and from. Virtual listening spaces will also be available. Students can join and process the tragedy as a community. And the Spartan Resilience Training Program is offering several Reflect and Connect sessions for faculty, staff, and graduate students. These sessions are meant to provide additional resources and self-care strategies and to encourage more communication. If you're a student who has information that might be useful to police, the OK to Say program allows anyone to report confidential tips. You can text those tips to the OK to Say hotline or send them in at the program's website. And if the MSU shooting has you feeling depressed or even suicidal, you're looking at the number now for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, as well as a number that can connect you to a crisis counselor. All this information is also available over on our website at 9and10news.com.